If you're a man over 60 and your erections aren't what they used to be, your sleep feels shallow, and your energy seems to vanish before noon, let me tell you something you've probably never heard from a doctor. It's not just age, it's not just stress, and it's certainly not your fault. I'm Dr. Helena Moura, a urologist with more than 25 years of experience caring for men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. I've spent my life studying not just what causes male health to decline, but what helps it come back. And what I've discovered is this. Most men are not broken. They're simply depleted. They go to bed every night without the vital nutrients their bodies need to repair, recharge, and rise the next morning as men, strong, clear-minded, sexually alive. Your body isn't just sleeping when you close your eyes. It's rebuilding. It's restoring your hormones. It's repairing your blood vessels. It's preparing your brain, your heart, and yes, your erections for the next day. But it can only do that if you give it what it needs. And most men don't. They wake up exhausted, weak, distant from their desire. They feel like something is missing but don't know what. Their partners feel it too, and the silence between them grows. Slowly, quietly, the man they used to be begins to fade. But I'm here to tell you, he's still there. And today, I'll show you the first step to getting him back. We'll begin with a vitamin you probably thought had nothing to do with intimacy or masculinity, but I've seen it transform men's sleep, erections, testosterone levels, and confidence when taken at the right time. Vitamin D3. Yes, the same vitamin you've heard about for bone strength or sunshine. But let me show you what most doctors won't tell you. I remember a man named Roberto. He was 68, relatively healthy by all standards. No diabetes, no heart disease. But he came into my clinic with a heavy look in his eyes. He said, "Doctor, I don't feel like a man anymore." He couldn't sleep. He woke up tired. His mornings were dull. Intimacy had become a distant memory. We ran some tests, and there it was, a chronic deficiency in vitamin D3. Now, most people assume vitamin D3 should be taken in the morning with their coffee. That's what supplement bottles say. But here's what I've learned after 2 decades treating men like Roberto. When you take vitamin D3 matters almost as much as how much you take. Because when you take it at night, right before sleep, it works with your body's natural repair rhythm. Vitamin D3 helps regulate melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall into deep, healing sleep. It also directly supports testosterone production during that sleep, and that's key. Because your body isn't designed to build hormones during the chaos of the day, it's built to do it at night when everything is quiet. But without D3, those systems stall. Testosterone drops. Your blood vessels stop repairing. Erections grow weaker. It's not about age, it's about missing fuel. And here's what most men don't realize. Vitamin D3 also protects your endothelial tissue, the fragile lining of your blood vessels. That same tissue is responsible for producing nitric oxide, the molecule that triggers and maintains erections. Without enough D3, your arteries harden, blood flow slows, and the signals of intimacy get lost. So we made a simple change. I gave Roberto 1 small capsule of D3 to take before bed. Nothing fancy, just the right vitamin at the right time. 1 week later, his sleep improved. 2 weeks later, his energy returned. And by the 3rd week, he walked into my clinic smiling like he had a secret. "Doctor," he said, "I woke up hard as a rock for the first time in over a year. I thought that part of me was gone forever." That's what I mean when I say most men aren't broken. They're mismatched. They take nutrients at the wrong time, or never at all. They expect energy without sleep, erections without blood flow, confidence without testosterone. But your body wants to heal. It doesn't need 10 pills. It doesn't need extreme workouts. It needs synchronization. One essential nutrient, taken with intention, when your body is ready to use it best. This is not a miracle cure. It's biological timing. If you're over 60 and waking up tired, foggy, or disconnected from your masculinity, don't ignore it. Your body is asking for help. Vitamin D3 at night may be the missing piece. But this is just the beginning. Because while D3 prepares the foundation, the next nutrient I'll show you does something very different. It calms your nervous system, sharpens your mind, and supports the hormonal signals that keep you feeling like yourself. Most men miss it completely. But first, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from today? What country? What city? I'd love to know who's walking this journey back to strength with me. As the days passed, I began to notice something striking among my older patients. Many of them described the same pattern: restless nights, waking up tired, difficulty concentrating, and a fading interest in intimacy. Some blamed it on aging. Others thought it was stress or emotional fatigue. But when I looked closer, I found a common thread running through nearly all of them. A deficiency so subtle it rarely gets the attention it deserves: vitamin B6. This vitamin, so simple and often overlooked, plays a profound role in the body. Without enough of it, your nervous system begins to falter. The production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, essential for mood, focus, and sleep, starts to slow. And worse, the conversion of tryptophan into melatonin, your body's natural sleep hormone, becomes inefficient. The result? You don't fall asleep deeply, you don't repair during the night. And by morning, even after hours in bed, you still feel like something is missing. Take Mr. Elias, for example. 70 years old, recently retired, full of energy just 2 years ago. He came to my clinic complaining of anxiety, low libido, and shallow sleep. "I wake up in the middle of the night just staring at the ceiling," he told me. "Then I spend the next day trying to remember simple things and feeling disconnected from my wife." When I asked him about his diet, I saw a pattern. Lots of processed grains, very little poultry or seeds, and almost no vegetables. After a simple blood test confirmed low levels of vitamin B6, we made changes: turkey breast twice a week, sunflower seeds in his morning oats, and spinach added to his lunch. Within 21 days, he was sleeping deeper and waking up with more clarity. A few weeks later, he brought his wife to the appointment just to tell me, "Thank you, doctor. We feel like we're finding each other again." You see, B6 is not just about the brain. It also supports the body's natural production of testosterone. Yes, that same hormone that gives you drive, energy, and desire. And here's something most men over 60 don't know. Your testosterone doesn't need to disappear with age. In many cases, it's being suppressed by inflammation, stress, poor sleep, and a lack of the very nutrients that help your body produce it. This is why I say to every man who walks into my office, if your energy is low, your sleep is poor, and your intimacy feels distant, don't just blame your age. Blame the silence around how your body really works, and begin reclaiming it with food. Vitamin B6 is found in chicken, tuna, bananas, fortified cereals, and leafy greens. But it's not just about eating them occasionally. It's about integrating them consistently with the intention of nourishing the systems that keep you alive, awake, and connected. And let's not forget, when your sleep is deeper, your circulation improves. The body repairs tissues overnight. Blood vessels relax and dilate more easily. You wake up with better blood flow, sharper thinking, and more emotional openness. That's not a theory. That's what I see in real life, every week in my clinic. Let me share another story. Mrs. Teresa brought her husband, Mr. Clovis, 73, into my office a few months ago. "He's been here, but not really here," she said. "He watches TV, he eats, he walks a bit, but he doesn't look at me the same. He seems like he's floating." I could see it in his eyes, that glazed-over look that comes from long-term mental and emotional fatigue. We talked, we reviewed his habits, and then we focused on his evening routine. No vegetables, no protein, just bread, coffee, and fatigue. I asked him to add a simple dinner: grilled chicken breast with steamed broccoli and a banana for dessert. It sounds too simple to matter, but simplicity, when done consistently and with knowledge, is transformative. 4 weeks later, I received a handwritten letter from Mrs. Teresa. "Doctor," it read, "he's singing again while he shaves. He laughs more. And last week he reached for my hand while we watched our old favorite movie. I had forgotten how warm that felt." Stories like these are why I keep speaking, why I keep teaching. Because no one deserves to live in a fog, disconnected from their vitality, when nature offers us tools to restore it. Now I ask you, my dear listener, what have your nights been like lately? Are you waking up feeling rested, or is something still missing? Just tell me in the comments, and also share with me. What city or country are you watching this video from? I love knowing where this message is reaching. As we move further into the invisible roots of male vitality, there's one mineral I cannot ignore: zinc. If magnesium is the foundation and vitamin D is the key to ignition, then zinc is the silent engine that keeps everything moving forward. I've seen countless men who were not sick, but simply disconnected, slower, dimmed. And the culprit? Often it was a subtle but persistent zinc deficiency. My name is Dr. Helena Moura, and for over 25 years, I've been walking side by side with men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. Men who still have dreams, desires, longings, men who still want to feel strong, clear, and fully alive. And zinc plays a crucial role in that process, more than most imagine. Let's talk biology for a moment, but in a way that speaks to you, not just to scientists. Zinc is a trace mineral, meaning your body needs only a small amount. But that amount is essential. Without it, your immune system weakens, your wound healing slows, your sense of smell and taste fade, and most importantly, for many of you listening, your testosterone levels begin to drop at a faster rate. Now, testosterone isn't just about libido or muscle. It's your internal signal of masculinity. It gives you courage. It sharpens your focus. It sustains your strength, bone density, and mood. When it dips, not just naturally with age, but due to deficiency, everything starts to feel harder. Life feels heavier. You see, zinc is directly involved in the production and regulation of testosterone. It's also a key player in sperm quality, prostate health, and cellular repair. But here's the problem. Most men after 60 are not absorbing enough zinc, even when they believe they're eating well. Age-related changes in the gut lining, certain medications like diuretics or acid reducers, alcohol consumption, and chronic inflammation can all block proper absorption. And there's another layer to this. Excessive sweating, something common in active older adults or those who live in hot climates, leads to even more zinc loss. Combine this with poor food choices and we get what I call hidden fatigue. That lingering tiredness that doesn't go away with rest. That subtle brain fog. That lost spark in the eyes. I recall one of my patients, Mr. Ernesto, a 67-year-old retired engineer from Recife. He came to me saying, "Dr. Helena, I feel like my body has no punctuation. I just keep going, flat." That phrase stayed with me. No punctuation, no rise in energy, no surprise in the touch, just a monotone of existence. We tested his nutrient levels. Zinc was critically low. After adjusting his diet and guiding him with specific foods and habits to optimize zinc intake, within a few weeks he came back smiling, saying, "I don't know if it's the zinc or just you believing in me, but I feel like I'm breathing in colors again." The results were not just physical. He became more affectionate with his wife. His memory improved. His posture straightened. That's the power of zinc when your body has been whispering for it for years. So how can you start including zinc naturally into your life? Let's start with zinc-rich foods. The king of them all? Oysters. Yes, those soft-shelled sea creatures contain more zinc per serving than any other food, but I understand they're not always accessible or palatable for everyone. So here are some realistic and delicious alternatives. Beef liver, pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, cashews, dark chocolate, yes, in moderation, lentils, and quinoa. Eggs, which we've already talked about, also contain zinc, especially in the yolk. But remember, absorption is everything. So I guide my patients to combine zinc-rich foods with vitamin C sources like bell peppers, oranges, and strawberries. This synergy boosts absorption. And here's a secret. Avoid taking calcium-rich foods like milk or cheese during zinc meals. They compete for the same receptors and can reduce how much zinc your body keeps. This kind of small adjustment, knowing what to combine, what to space out, makes all the difference. Some men ask me about supplements. Yes, they can help, especially if the deficiency is significant. But I always recommend starting with food. Supplements should be an enhancement, not a substitute for nourishment, and always under medical supervision. Zinc in excess can suppress copper and harm immunity. Balance is key. Beyond the nutrition, there are habits that either steal or preserve your zinc. Alcohol, especially in daily doses, depletes it fast. Chronic stress burns through it too. Smoking? A disaster for zinc and everything else. So I don't just prescribe food. I teach lifestyle. I coach sleep, boundaries, breath, posture. Because your hormones, your heart, your desires, and they are listening to every signal you send. So if you've been feeling like you're fading instead of aging, if your intimacy has become a memory rather than a presence, if your strength has turned into hesitation. Consider zinc. Don't underestimate the profound impact a simple mineral can have on the complexity of your manhood. And most importantly, don't wait for things to break to begin taking care of them. Vitality after 60 is not just possible, it's real, it's within reach, and often it begins with a breakfast, a choice, a moment of awareness. You don't need to feel flat anymore. You deserve punctuation, a rising energy, a renewed touch, a sharper mind, a body that doesn't just exist but participates. So before I move on to the next chapter, I want to know something from you. Where are you watching this video from? Drop your city or country in the comments. I'd love to know where this message of healing and reconnection is reaching. I'm Dr. Helena Moura, urologist and specialist in senior men's health, and I want to talk to you now about something that many people overlook: vitamin E. Often treated as a secondary nutrient, this vitamin actually plays a crucial role in protecting your blood vessels, preserving your sexual function, and maintaining your energy after 60. You see, every day your body faces oxidative stress. Just like metal rusts when exposed to air and moisture, your cells and arteries rust from within when free radicals accumulate. These unstable molecules damage the inner lining of your vessels, leading to stiffness, inflammation, and reduced blood flow. Over time, this silent process contributes to erectile dysfunction, chronic fatigue, poor mental clarity, and even cardiovascular issues. That's where vitamin E comes in. It acts as one of the most powerful fat-soluble antioxidants in the human body. It protects the delicate membranes of your cells, especially those of your blood vessels, from oxidative damage. But it does more than protect. It actually improves the flexibility of arteries and reduces clot formation, keeping your blood flowing freely where it needs to go, especially to the brain and the pelvic region. Do you remember Mr. Alvaro, the gentleman I mentioned earlier? He was the one who suffered from cold hands, persistent tiredness, and a loss of sexual drive. What I didn't tell you is that Alvaro's diet was severely deficient in vitamin E. He avoided oils completely, thinking all fats were bad. He rarely ate nuts or seeds, and even though he consumed vegetables, they were often cooked in high heat, destroying sensitive nutrients like vitamin E. Once we corrected this in his diet, including raw sunflower seeds, small amounts of cold-pressed oils, and gentle cooking methods, Alvaro began noticing changes within 2 weeks. His skin regained color, his focus sharpened, and he told me, rather bashfully, that he and his wife had reconnected in a way they hadn't in years. That's the quiet power of proper micronutrients. Another point that many overlook: testosterone production. Vitamin E helps protect the Leydig cells in the testicles, which are responsible for producing testosterone. When these cells are under oxidative stress, their function declines. But when they're protected, your hormone levels are better preserved. And if you're past 60, you know how valuable even a small boost in natural testosterone can be. But beware. Just like with the eggs, how you consume vitamin E matters. Many supplements on the market use synthetic forms, which are not as effective and may even cause imbalance when taken in isolation. I always recommend natural sources first. Think of almonds, hazelnuts, sunflower seeds, avocado, extra virgin olive oil, and leafy greens. And when cooking, avoid overheating oils, especially seed oils, because vitamin E is sensitive to heat and can be destroyed easily. Let me share another story. João, 73, widowed and recently retired, had been feeling down. He came to my clinic not because of pain, but because, as he said, "I don't feel like myself anymore." He felt invisible. He had stopped socializing, lost interest in intimacy, and even avoided mirrors. He blamed it on aging, but as we examined his habits, it became clear he wasn't eating to support his vitality. With a tailored plan including vitamin E-rich foods and some light morning movement, João started smiling again. And one day, he arrived wearing a new shirt and said, "Doctor, I feel more alive than I have in years." That's what I want for you too. Your body is not broken. It's just undernourished. Your soul is not tired. It's just disconnected from your physical strength. And yes, your intimacy can still flourish if the blood flows, the mind clears, and the spirit is willing. So the next time you reach for food, ask yourself, is this nourishing my circulation or silently working against it? Because every small choice builds your future vitality, and every bite can be a form of self-respect. We'll continue this journey in the next part, where I'll introduce a mineral that works hand in hand with vitamin E and has the power to reignite your confidence and restore your nightly energy. You might be surprised by how accessible and powerful it is. But before we move on, tell me something. Which city or country are you watching from right now? It warms my heart to know where this message is reaching and how many lives we're touching. I'm Dr. Helena Moura, urologist, and today I want to talk about a mineral that is often misunderstood and frequently missing in men over 60, magnesium. While many of you have heard of it, very few realize how deeply it influences your sleep, your circulation, and even your ability to feel like a man again. Let me tell you a secret that took me years of practice to fully understand. Erections are not just about desire or testosterone. They are also about relaxation, specifically the ability of your blood vessels to relax and open fully, allowing a healthy surge of blood to flow exactly where it needs to go. Without this relaxation, even the strongest signals from your brain and hormones can't achieve the response you want. This is where magnesium steps in. Magnesium is a natural vasodilator, which means it helps the smooth muscles in your blood vessels relax. Think of your arteries as flexible hoses. When they are stiff or contracted, blood flow is limited. But when they relax, blood moves freely, filling every part of the body with life, including the areas that define your intimacy. But magnesium's role goes beyond that. It's one of the most crucial minerals for your nervous system, helping calm overactive signals that keep you awake at night or leave you feeling anxious. It's also involved in more than 300 biochemical reactions in your body, from energy production to muscle function, bone strength, and heart rhythm. When levels are low, which is incredibly common after 60, your body feels it everywhere. I recall a patient named Carlos, 66, a retired firefighter who was still active and strong but carried a quiet frustration. He sat in my office and said, "Doctor, I still want to be close to my wife, but when the moment comes, nothing happens. It's like my body just won't cooperate." His lab results showed normal testosterone, no significant heart issues, but a severe magnesium deficiency. This deficiency was affecting his vascular flexibility, his nerves, and even his sleep cycles. So, I prescribed a simple solution: magnesium glycinate before bed. Why glycinate? Because it is one of the most absorbable forms, and unlike cheaper versions, it doesn't cause digestive discomfort. Within the first week, Carlos called my office to say, "Doctor, I slept 6 hours straight for the first time in years." 2 weeks later, his morning energy was back, and by the third week, he said with a relieved smile, "I woke up fully awake, if you know what I mean." That's the beauty of supporting the body with what it truly needs. No forcing, no artificial stimulation, just alignment with the body's natural rhythms. You see, magnesium doesn't just help with erections indirectly through better circulation. It also reduces blood pressure, lowers stress hormones like cortisol, and improves the quality of your deep sleep, the phase where your body rebuilds testosterone and repairs blood vessel walls. Without enough magnesium, you may feel like you're sleeping, but not truly resting. Another story I'll never forget is from Mr. Henrique, 71, who came to me complaining of constant fatigue and irritability. He would fall asleep on the couch but wake up every 2 hours. His wife said he was more forgetful, and their intimacy had almost disappeared. When we introduced a nightly magnesium ritual, just one small capsule taken with a warm glass of water before bed, things began to shift. He told me 2 weeks later, "I didn't realize how much I missed waking up feeling ready to live the day. And, well, I think my wife is happy too." Magnesium-rich foods include pumpkin seeds, almonds, cashews, spinach, and dark chocolate. But here's the truth. Even with a good diet, it's hard for older adults to get enough magnesium because our soil today is depleted, and our digestive absorption declines with age. That's why supplementation, especially at night, can be so transformative. Timing is everything. When you take magnesium before bed, you're syncing with your body's natural parasympathetic system, the rest and repair mode. Your blood pressure drops slightly, your muscles relax, and your nervous system finally has permission to calm down. This creates the perfect environment for both deep sleep and better blood flow, including to the intimate areas that often feel forgotten. There's also an emotional benefit. Many men tell me that as they begin sleeping better, they regain confidence, not just in the bedroom, but in how they carry themselves. Better sleep means clearer thinking, stronger decision-making, and a renewed sense of presence. So I ask you, when was the last time you woke up feeling completely rested? When was the last time you felt your body respond naturally, without effort or fear? Magnesium may be the missing link to that feeling of being fully alive. In the next part, I will show you how zinc and vitamin E, when combined with magnesium, create a synergy that not only strengthens circulation, but also protects your prostate, boosts your immune system, and restores your natural vitality. But before we move forward, I want to know, how have your nights been lately? Do you wake up refreshed or do you feel drained in the mornings? The answer is something I've witnessed time and again in my clinic. A quiet reawakening of strength, clarity, circulation, and confidence, all without extreme treatments or pharmaceuticals. Just the natural synergy of two nutrients working in harmony with your body's design. Let's go back for a moment. You now understand that zinc is deeply involved in testosterone production, immune strength, and the health of your prostate. You also know that vitamin E protects your blood vessels, reduces oxidative stress, and supports healthy blood flow to all parts of your body, including those essential to your intimacy. What most men don't realize is that these two nutrients protect each other. Vitamin E needs zinc to be transported and utilized efficiently in the body, while zinc helps regenerate vitamin E after it's been used to fight free radicals. It's a natural tag team. One shields your cells, the other reinforces the system that repairs them. This combination becomes even more critical as we age, when the body naturally slows down the production of its own antioxidants. That's why older men often experience higher inflammation, slower recovery, and poor circulation. When we restore this duo, vitamin E as the guardian of your vessels and zinc as the builder of your masculinity, remarkable things begin to happen. Let me tell you about Mr. Silvio, 68 years old, a former judge, known for his sharp mind and commanding presence. When he walked into my office, however, he looked defeated. He said, "Doctor, I don't feel sharp anymore. I don't feel like myself. I can't focus, I'm tired, and my body doesn't respond the way it used to." He was embarrassed, but also desperate to feel vital again. After a full evaluation, we discovered that both his zinc and vitamin E levels were deficient, not dramatically, but enough to disrupt his balance. His diet was low in seeds, nuts, and healthy oils. He had stopped cooking for himself and was mostly eating processed food and bread. I designed a protocol: a handful of sunflower seeds daily, grilled salmon or sardines twice a week, olive oil added to his steamed vegetables, and a zinc supplement paired with his lunch. 2 months later, he returned. His voice was firmer, his skin more vibrant, and his posture straighter. He said, "I didn't think small things like this could make such a difference. My thoughts are clearer, my energy is stable, and I'm reconnecting with my wife, emotionally and physically." You see, the body responds to care, especially after 60, when each system becomes more sensitive to both neglect and nourishment. And the combination of zinc and vitamin E not only boosts testosterone and improves circulation, it also protects your prostate, an area many men fear discussing. Here's how. Zinc is concentrated in the prostate gland, and low levels are linked to increased inflammation and even higher risk of enlargement. Vitamin E reduces oxidative stress in this region, preventing damage and supporting long-term function. Together, they form a front line of defense, not just for sexual health, but for urinary health, comfort, and peace of mind. And let's not forget mental health. Zinc plays a key role in mood regulation, supporting neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. Vitamin E helps maintain brain cell integrity. Men who are low in both often report brain fog, sadness, or apathy. But when these levels are restored, many describe a kind of emotional rebalancing, like waking up to life again. One more thing I tell all my patients: choose natural sources whenever possible. Pumpkin seeds, oysters, cashews, spinach, and lean red meats for zinc. Almonds, sunflower seeds, olive oil, avocados, and leafy greens for vitamin E. These aren't exotic or expensive foods. They are simple, powerful, and within your reach. If supplementation is needed, choose high-quality forms: zinc picolinate or citrate, and mixed tocopherols for vitamin E, not just alpha tocopherol. And always remember, the goal is not to overload the body, but to restore the balance that age and stress may have disrupted. I've seen this in farmers and in CEOs, in men from small towns and big cities, in men who thought they were too far gone and were ready to give up. But after 30 days, 45 days, 90 days, they came back with a spark in their eyes and said, "Doctor, I feel like I got a piece of myself back." That's not a miracle. That's biology, respected, supported, and activated through knowledge. In the next part, I'll talk about something often ignored but profoundly connected to all of this: your gut. Yes, your digestive health affects how you absorb these nutrients and how your entire hormonal and circulatory system performs. You'll be surprised at how gut inflammation can silently drain your vitality and how healing it can restore everything. But before we dive into that, I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried combining these nutrients consciously? What has your experience been like? And where are you watching this video from today? Share your city or country in the comments. I love knowing how far this message is traveling. Now, you might be wondering, what does digestion have to do with my circulation, erections, or energy? The answer is everything. Your gut is more than just a tube that processes food. It's a complex, intelligent system that determines what your body absorbs, how your immune system reacts, how your hormones are regulated, and even how your brain functions. And yet, for many men, this system has been quietly under attack for years. When you eat something like a piece of steak, a boiled egg, or a handful of pumpkin seeds, you're not simply filling your stomach. You're engaging a delicate and highly coordinated process. That food must be broken down by enzymes, pass through your intestinal lining, and absorbed into the bloodstream. Only then can nutrients like zinc, magnesium, and vitamin E begin their real work inside you. But when your gut is inflamed or unbalanced, this entire system begins to break down. The intestinal walls may become less effective, the digestive enzymes may weaken, and the good bacteria that live inside your gut, your microbiome, may start to disappear. As a result, even if you're eating well or taking supplements, your body may not be receiving the benefits. I call this invisible sabotage. And it's much more common after 60 than most men realize. Many factors contribute to this decline: lower stomach acid with age, frequent use of medications like antacids, years of processed foods, stress, alcohol, and poor hydration. Constipation, bloating, and discomfort become so common that many men begin to believe it's just part of aging. I remember a patient named Donato, age 70, who came to me with extreme fatigue, despite taking multivitamins daily. His tests showed low levels of critical nutrients, and yet he was eating correctly. When I looked deeper, I found he had persistent digestive discomfort and poor gut flora. We created a plan to rebuild his digestive environment with gentle, natural foods. And a few months later, he told me with amazement, "I feel like I've been rebooted." So what does this mean for you? It means that you need to approach your digestion as part of your overall vitality, not as a separate concern. A well-functioning gut supports circulation, mental clarity, immune balance, and even sexual performance. When the gut is inflamed, all those systems suffer quietly. To support your gut, start by gently adding fermented foods to your meals. Things like sauerkraut, plain yogurt, or kefir can help restore the good bacteria your digestive system needs to operate smoothly. Try including natural sources of fiber that feed these good bacteria, such as cooked onions, garlic, asparagus, or even a small banana with your breakfast. These small additions can gradually restore the balance that your gut may be craving. At the same time, it's important to reduce the quiet irritants that often go unnoticed. Foods high in refined sugar, deep-fried snacks, heavily processed meals, and frequent alcohol consumption can damage your intestinal lining and increase inflammation, weakening your ability to absorb even the healthiest nutrients. Even the way you eat matters. If you chew your food slowly and thoroughly, you help your digestive system work more efficiently and reduce unnecessary stress on your stomach and intestines. And beginning your day with something as simple as warm water before breakfast can gently awaken your digestion and support a calm, nourishing morning. These aren't complex changes, they're acts of daily care. When you treat your gut as an ally rather than an afterthought, everything else improves. Your mood lifts, your circulation flows, your energy becomes steady, your intimacy becomes natural again. Think of your gut not just as a place where food goes, but as the center of your strength. From the nutrients it processes to the hormones it influences, Your gut holds the keys to how vibrant, connected, and masculine you feel every day. In the next part, I'll show you how stress, even the quiet, hidden kind, may be shrinking your blood vessels, damaging your hormones, and silently eroding your vitality. And I'll teach you how to take your power back with practices that are gentle, natural, and deeply effective. But before we move on, I want to know something about you. How are your mornings lately? Do you feel light, strong, and focused? Or sluggish and disconnected? And where in the world are you tuning in from? I'd love to know which city or country you're watching this from. Stress isn't just a feeling. It's a full-body chemical reaction that, when left unchecked, begins to rewire your brain, restrict your blood vessels, and shut down your hormonal production, particularly testosterone. For men over 60, these effects are magnified and often misunderstood. Let me take you inside the body for a moment. When you feel threatened, whether by a deadline, a family argument, or even persistent financial worries, your adrenal glands release cortisol, the primary stress hormone. In short bursts, cortisol is helpful. It wakes you up, keeps you alert, helps you survive. But when stress becomes constant, cortisol stays elevated, and that's when the damage begins. Long-term cortisol excess shrinks the blood vessels, making it harder for blood to flow where it needs to, especially to the extremities and the pelvic region. It also blocks testosterone production by signaling to your body that this is not a safe time to reproduce. Your system shifts from growth to defense mode, and over time, this imbalance reduces your drive, weakens your muscles, dulls your thinking, and distances you emotionally. I've had countless patients tell me, "Doctor, I just don't feel like a man anymore." When I ask about their stress levels, many say, "I'm fine, I've handled pressure all my life." But what they don't realize is that their bodies are no longer processing stress the same way they did at 30. At 60, the same pressure can tip the system into exhaustion. Let me share the story of Sebastião, a 66-year-old retired banker. He was proud, stoic, and deeply private. When he came to me, it wasn't to talk about stress. It was because his libido had disappeared and he was experiencing fatigue that wouldn't go away. We ran tests, and his hormone levels were lower than expected. But what stood out even more was his elevated cortisol, paired with signs of chronic inflammation and high blood pressure. When I gently asked about his emotional state, he confessed that he was taking care of his ill wife, managing their finances, and worrying about his grown children who were struggling. He had no time for himself, no outlet for his thoughts, and no space to breathe. All this pressure was sitting silently inside his body, blocking everything, including the very flow of life that brings joy and connection. Our strategy wasn't just nutritional. We introduced micro-rest rituals, short daily pauses where Sebastião could reconnect with his breath, stretch his body, and shift from fight or flight into a state of calm. I encouraged him to begin mornings not with the news or bank reports, but with 5 minutes of silence and a warm drink by the window. We adjusted his meals to support adrenal recovery, with magnesium-rich foods and steady sources of healthy fat. And we scheduled simple pleasures, like afternoon walks, phone calls with old friends, and yes, time alone. 3 months later, Sebastião looked 10 years younger. His blood pressure had improved. He reported waking up with more energy and with a shy smile told me that intimacy had returned to his marriage. This wasn't magic. It was the release of tension that had been clogging his vitality. You see, your nervous system has 2 main modes. One is alert and reactive, the sympathetic mode that helps you survive. The other is restorative and regenerative, the parasympathetic mode that allows you to digest, heal, and engage in intimacy. Most older men spend their days stuck in the first, rarely accessing the second, and this imbalance starves their hormones, narrows their arteries, and silences their desire. To restore balance, you don't need a vacation or expensive treatments. You need simple, daily moments of restoration. A quiet sunrise, a conversation without urgency, slow, deep breathing before meals, light movement after dinner, a walk through a park with no goal except to notice the trees. I often tell my patients, it's not the storm that breaks you. It's never finding time to rest when the storm passes. When you give your body permission to exhale, it begins to heal. Blood starts to flow again. Testosterone returns, sleep deepens, and the man you thought had been lost to time begins to reemerge. In the next part, we'll explore how sleep quality is the foundation for every other system in your body, and why so many men fail to sleep deeply after 60. You'll learn what's robbing your rest and how to rebuild nights that restore and invigorate you. But for now, tell me something. What brings you peace during your day? A walk? Music? Prayer? I'd love to hear what helps you feel alive again. And where in the world you're watching from. Drop your city or country in the comments. Let's stay connected. Because here's the truth most men ignore. You don't rebuild testosterone in the gym, you rebuild it in your sleep. When I meet men in their 60s and 70s who complain of low energy, poor concentration, decreased libido, or rising blood pressure, one of the first questions I ask is, "How's your sleep?" Many reply, "It's okay. I wake up a few times, but that's normal for my age." But let me tell you something important. Broken, shallow sleep is not a natural consequence of aging. It is a signal that something deeper needs to be addressed. You see, testosterone production is tied directly to your deepest stages of sleep, especially REM and slow-wave sleep. These are the times when your body releases key hormones, repairs damaged cells, and resets your nervous system. But when your sleep is interrupted by noise, light, stress, or poor sleep hygiene, your body never reaches those critical stages. And over time, this deprives you not only of rest, but of your ability to feel strong, sharp, and desired. I had a patient once, Mauricio, 68, who was doing everything right. He was eating well, walking daily, even meditating in the evenings, but something wasn't working. His testosterone was still low, and he was waking up exhausted. We ran a sleep assessment and discovered that he was waking every 90 minutes due to mild sleep apnea and late-night screen use. His room was full of light from the TV, and he often checked his phone at 3 a.m. With a few changes, turning off screens an hour before bed, lowering bedroom temperature, using blackout curtains, and adjusting meal timing, his sleep transformed. Within weeks, he reported morning erections returning, his mood improving, and an energy he hadn't felt in years. Sleep isn't just about rest, it's about renewal. Your brain flushes toxins, your heart rate slows, your blood vessels relax, your muscles rebuild, and most importantly, your hormone-producing organs reset. But modern life has stolen sleep from many older men. Late-night news, alcohol in the evening, late dinners, caffeine after midday, and lack of exposure to natural sunlight all confuse your internal clock. Your body no longer knows when it's time to shut down and heal. So how do we bring your body back to balance? Start by making your bedroom a sacred space. This is not just where you sleep. It's where your body remembers its strength. Keep it cool, dark, and quiet. Avoid watching TV or scrolling your phone in bed. Allow your mind to slow down before you close your eyes, perhaps with soft music, prayer, or simply breathing deeply. Then, pay attention to your light exposure. Your brain relies on light cues to produce melatonin, the sleep hormone. Spend time in morning sunlight when possible. Avoid bright lights late at night. And if needed, use warm amber lighting in the evenings to signal that it's time to wind down. Next, consider your evening routine. A heavy or sugary dinner can interfere with digestion and delay sleep. Alcohol may make you drowsy at first, but disrupts REM sleep later in the night. And caffeine, even in small amounts, can stay in your system for up to 10 hours, stealing your rest quietly. Sleep is not just a routine. It's a ritual of renewal. And when you honor it, your body responds with clarity, circulation, and desire. Now let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you woke up before your alarm, feeling rested, clear-headed, and ready to move? If you can't remember, that's not your fault. But it is your invitation. Your body is still capable of powerful recovery. Your nights can become sacred again, and your mornings can return as a place of confidence and joy. In the next and final part of our journey, I'll help you bring everything together, the nutrients, the hormones, the emotions, the habits, into a single vision of vitality that you can carry with you. It's not a miracle or a pill, it's a return to yourself. But before we close this chapter, tell me something. How have your nights been lately? Do you feel truly rested in the morning, or more tired than the night before? And where are you joining this conversation from? Share your city or country with us. I'd love to know who's walking this path alongside me. I'm Dr. Helena Moura, and if you've walked with me through this journey, from your bloodstream to your hormones, your food, your breath, your sleep, then you already know something most men never hear. It's not too late. Not even close. You are not finished, fading, or broken. You are awakening. You've learned how circulation is the river that nourishes not only your body, but your strength, your pleasure, and your peace. You've seen that testosterone is not just about sex, but about spirit, the fuel of movement, focus, and identity. You've heard that nutrients aren't just vitamins, but messengers of energy and stability. That your gut is not just a digestive machine, but your inner soil. That stress is not just pressure, but an invisible thief. And that sleep is not a passive act, but an act of self-respect. All these parts come together to form something greater than the sum of their names. You. And now, I ask you gently but directly, what kind of man do you want to be from this day forward? Not what you used to be. That story has already been written. And not what society tells you a 60-year-old man should feel like. That narrative is small, lifeless, and full of lies. I'm asking, what kind of vitality do you dare to claim for yourself now? Because you have a choice. Every single day. You can continue ignoring the signals, shrinking into habits that slowly erode your energy, waiting for someone else to tell you what to do. Or you can step forward, imperfectly, courageously, and become the guardian of your own health, your own passion, your own presence. I've treated thousands of men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s who thought it was over, who said, "My best years are behind me." But do you know what happens when they start eating differently, breathing differently, sleeping differently, moving with intention again? They come back to life. Their posture changes. Their eyes sharpen. Their laughter returns. Their marriages rekindle. Their solitude becomes peace instead of emptiness. Their identity stops depending on pills or labels. They become men again, but this time, deeper, wiser, more alive than they ever were in youth. You don't need to become a fitness model or run marathons. You don't need to take 100 supplements or follow a strict program. You need only to listen, truly listen, to what your body is asking, to what your heart has been whispering. Eat real food. Drink clean water. Move your body with gratitude, not guilt. Touch with kindness. Breathe like someone who belongs here. Rest like someone who deserves peace. And speak to yourself not with anger, but with the same respect you give to someone you admire. Because you should admire the man you're becoming. You've survived storms. You've lost things and rebuilt them. You've endured nights that felt endless. And still, here you are. Wanting more. That alone is the seed of transformation. And from that seed, if you water it daily, not with shame or pressure, but with care, you will grow something unshakable. Your energy will return, your intimacy will deepen, your clarity will sharpen, and your dignity as a man will no longer depend on external validation. It will be rooted in your presence. I'm not here to sell you hope. I'm here to remind you, you are still capable of becoming the strongest, most vibrant version of yourself, no matter your age. This is your time. Not a second youth, but a first awakening. And I'll leave you with this final thought. You don't need more time. You need more truth. You don't need to be younger. You need to be present. You don't need to be perfect. You need to begin. So begin now. Start with your next meal, your next breath, your next morning walk. The next time you look in the mirror, the next time you choose stillness over distraction, nourishment over numbing, love over apathy, you are not a problem to fix. You are a force to awaken. Thank you for walking with me. Now I'd love to hear from you one last time. What was your favorite part of this journey? What changed in your thinking? And from where in the world are you watching? Leave your city, your age, or even just a word that describes how you feel right now. Your voice matters. Let it be heard.